Kiwi blue honeywort. It was a plant that I grew this summer, and it was right here, and then I took it down, but it dropped all of its seeds. I tried to collect some of the seeds, and I did, but they were hard to get out of their little pods. But I'm just surprised at how readily they're growing here, because it wasn't like the seeds were dirt cheap, you know, like, was it difficult? Are they difficult to propagate, to germinate? No, obviously not. And look, there's some more over here. I've been really stunned this year at the rate at which flowers have produced seeds and then dropped those seeds, and then they're growing again right away. Like, I guess I didn't know 4 o'clocks were so prolific until last year when I collected a bunch of seeds from them. But then a bunch came up this year. Yeah, it surprised me. I guess I didn't know a whole bunch about those flowers, eh? Look at, there's a honeywort over there. It's the dead branch. I have to get in there and take that out. So I don't know, you know, how many seeds dropped over there. And then that rue right there that is right next to it, it's the more of a blue-leafed herb plant. Those two I started from seed a few years ago, and they have surprised me in their growth and in their tolerance of the cold. Huh. Tansy. This plant gets really big. I had no idea. And it stinks. Every time I came over here, I was like, what is that dirty foot smell? What smells like ass over here? And it was the tansy. So unless you like flowers that smell like ass, don't have tansy in your garden. And it's kind of like feverfew, where it grows big, but it didn't flower until it got twice as big as feverfew. Look at this feverfew over here underneath this peach tree. It is, yeah, about the only feverfew throughout my garden that has flowered continuously all summer, and it is now the first day of fall. I think I might have trimmed this feverfew back once this year, and it is completely happy underneath this peach tree, which that peach tree has grown enormously. This is the best spot in the yard. There was a mulberry tree here when we moved in. It was a mature one, and it had for years dropped its mulberries here, which fed the soil. But the tree had to come down because it was breaking and twisting, and it was a danger. So we took it down, and we put a peach tree. I have more feverfew that grows over here, but as you can see, it's like, yeah, we're done. And at one time, that feverfew was as lush as that feverfew. Nasturtiums just everywhere. I love it. We put our blueberries over here and some basil. We did a lot more succession planting this year to extend the harvest. I was kind of happy to get a fall planting in all of these beds. Not kind of happy. I was pretty darn happy. Some years about this time you just get tired, and so you're like, I don't wanna. But look at those colors over there. So this purple flower is an aster. What is it? A New England Aster? I forget. I don't have the seed packet for it. I don't remember writing that name down. But when I look up the flower, when I take pictures of it and look it up, that's what comes up, like a New England Aster. Anyway, how did it get there? I don't know. I don't remember where I got that plant. That might be one of those plants where you're just like, oh my gosh, it's $4.99. I'm gonna buy it. And then it was a spur of the moment, I'm sure. Anyway, It is definitely a very beautiful time of year. So yeah, so nasturtiums everywhere, and I put all my little gourds that I grew out because, you know, it's that time of year where we decorate our porch steps, and so that's my contribution there. But I grew these little pumpkins, so you know. And then this morning I'm like, yeah, sure, just set the food out for the wild animals that bother you so. I don't help. I know. The calendulas, this has just become a small sea of calendulas over here, and every morning I'm like, oh, I should cut the flowers and dehydrate them and make a tea. And then I think, how many times have you had calendula tea, Marla? And the answer is 0. So then I don't cut the flowers. And because I don't cut the flowers, they seed, they go to seed, and then they reseed themselves quite easily. See all those little seed heads? If you want any seeds for calendula or blue kiwi, honeywort, or 4 o'clock, or Job's tears, you can come see me, or I can, you know, hook up with you, give you some seeds. This is the 4 o'clock, that fuchsia colored 4 o'clock. The one up by the pond was a salmon pink 4 o'clock. And they get pretty big, as you can see. I did not know this when I first planted them. And I did not give them a whole lot of room, so therefore they didn't get as big as these ones that have self-seeded themselves and just grew. I mean, look at that one's the size of a zucchini plant. Who doesn't want that? Bees and butterflies and hummingbirds love it. Am I selling you on the 4 o'clock yet? So I forgot that I even planted these peas down here because everything that I was planting was just getting mowed down by the rabbits and the chipmunks. Look, there's there's like a little cucumber growing here too. Oh, you poor little thing, you're just not going to have enough time. Not enough time. But the alyssum on down the row, usually I pull that up about midsummer because it starts to look kind of just scrawny and scraggly. But I decided to keep this going, and it has reflowered, and every time I walk through it, it smells like spring. I'm kind of sad not to have this trellis covered here this time of year, but we had a quick death of the cucumbers or the pickles. Grow, little pea, grow. So instead of looking at them dead on the trellis, which made me sad, I took them off. And now I can see this beautiful nasturtium that was growing within them that I didn't really pay much attention to before, but now that it has had space to open up, it's doing mighty fine. Zach and I had some of the nasturtium flowers in our salad last night. Over here, look at these ever-bearing raspberries. We get a nice big flush of raspberries in the spring, and then we get this second flush in the fall, which is cool. It's not as big as the spring one, of course, but look back in there. We have to tame these freaking raspberries, man. There's so much pruning that has to be done. I think this year with all of the berries, including the thornless blackberries up there, right on down the road, those are all berries along the fence, and then around the fence, and then right there, all berries. So we need to just mow them down and remove the roots and place them where we need to and build a trellis. Some things are easier said than done. Horseradish. We've been growing horseradish for a few years, and I have yet to dig up the root and try to use it. I think Steve tried once, and I know that there's tricks to it, so I got to read up on it. I guess I just haven't had a huge need for horseradish, huh? Grow what you need, right? Look at that nasturtium. the first time I ever encountered a nasturtium, I worked at a bed and breakfast down on Fountain Street in Grand Rapids called Fountain Street Bed and Breakfast. And it was the best job I ever had in my life. I loved the owners and I loved the house and I loved the history, and it was beautiful. And Carol, the owner, really taught me a lot, probably inadvertently, about herbs. She had a beautiful little herb garden just outside the back door of this Victorian house in downtown Grand Rapids. And thyme, she introduced me to thyme, garnishing the plate with the thyme and cooking with it with the eggs and the breakfast. And that really, her little herb garden really inspired me, and we just loved it. So thanks, Carol, for providing, offering the the best job. That was the best job I ever had. I loved it. Anyway, before I go way down memory lane, let's get back to the berries over here, shall we? We have Steve planted some of the white raspberries over here, and they are really sweet and delicious. Look at that. You guys, that was the best berry ever. They don't make it in the house, really. I just eat them out here. But I think that these ones over here that get the afternoon sun like it way better than the original ones that are over there that get the morning sun. Of course, the ones back there in the corner, we'll get there. You'll see I can hardly even get to. Of course, I mean, can I really get to any of them? What's up, ducks? It's been like a bar brawl back there these past few weeks between the chickens and the ducks. So yeah, all these berries need to be mowed down and removed and moved around. Look at that. Look at those berries. Dude, look at how big that berry is. That is a good size fall raspberry. Distinctly different from the white raspberry. Way more tart, but just as sweet and good. These are the potted perennials that we still have left from our plant sale, which was a huge success. I mean, considering that this entire area was all potted plants. And then I don't know what we're doing this fall. I mean, there's so many perennials around here that we should dig up and repot and plant, so we'll get around to it. Another big horseradish patch over here. If you want to grow horseradish, let me know. I'll tell you all about it. It's always nice to get a different point of view. I'm always looking at the garden from the top of the steps or the deck or that corner over there. That, stopping and looking at it from this point of view is, you have to stop, right? And take a breath. What's up, girls? They really do not like Karen, man. And I have found now that as I come out, it's funny because Karen, the big red chicken, most often she's not doing anything. Now, sometimes she's doing things, and when she does, they're bad. So this area over here, apparently we have moved the wood chips from this spot over here to this spot over here. And if you remember, not last spring, but the spring before, this spot over here, I inoculated with the red cap mushrooms. King Strophoria, I do believe is what it's called. But at some point, the wood chips because I got a good flush in the spring and another little one in the fall. But then this past spring, I didn't see anything. But I think that these wood chips must have gotten moved over to this side, because I have been finding random red wine cap mushrooms out here. This little one I didn't pick. So there were a couple poking up here through the grass clippings. And the ones that I had a picture on my Facebook page a few days back came from right over here. And then this morning, well, actually this afternoon, I found some back in there. There's the, I know that this one was already pulled out of the ground. I know to cut the mushroom at the base and leave the system in the ground. I know how important that is, but these ones were already kind of knocked aside, kicked up, or somebody tried to eat them. Critters, I tell you. So yeah, so the chickens and the ducks. So we thought that we were having a big problem with Karen, the big red chicken, and she was beating up on the little girls here some. And then the ducks kind of came in and took over. And now our worry is that these little girls, see, we got 6 newbies. They don't look so little anymore, but they weren't going into the coop, and they have to go into the coop because it's going to be winter soon. And for now about a week, the little girls have been going into the coop. The 2 big, oh, here's the 3. These are our 3 originals. So Karen is on the left, and then we have the 2 white ones. So Karen always seems to be in the middle of everything. Whenever there's a tussle or hollering or chaos, Karen seems to be just like right there. And then I witnessed the white ones picking on red inside the coop. So there's definitely some kind of hierarchy going on here with the chickens. And I wasn't sure if the little ones were going to get in. They weren't going to get in the club. But the last few nights, all the little ones have been going into the coop, but not up onto the roosts. Only the 2 white ones are taking up all of the room on the roosts. But all of the little girls are now inside the coop, and red is the only one outside the coop with the ducks. What does that mean? I don't know. Here's some more of the white raspberries over here. See, they don't seem quite as happy as they were in the sunshine. Although there are a few down there. I got to go in there and harvest those. So I just noticed that. No, I didn't notice anything. Never mind. Upon closer look, I thought my camera had stopped, but it didn't. These are the white blackberries. I think we put them in maybe last spring. So they've had a full season, but they haven't shown any signs of flowering or anything like that. So we'll see. But look, I just don't have any room to get in. No room. The carrots and the beets are up. I don't know why I planted them at the same time, because the beets don't take as long to grow as the carrots. And so the beets look pretty good. We've been eating the greens in our salads, and even the beets themselves are starting to show a little bit of body. I didn't get in here in time to thin them out really, because these black raspberries were just all in the way, just draping over here. You can see where some get sun and some do not. Nice bed of cilantro going over here. This is just going to be my permanent bed of cilantro now. And then the cilantro kind of merges into carrots, which I don't remember planting more carrots in here, but I see a lot of carrots coming up. Did I plant carrots in there? I should really be a better note taker. I'm terrible at keeping the notes. Even though I have journals filled with notes from gardening, I should be better. I should be more business-like about it, I guess. You know, like just recording data, really. My journals are filled with, you know, like once a month, a big, long entry, and it's not just data, right? It's hopes and dreams and thoughts and musings, and so that's the kind of note-taking about the garden that I do. I need somebody to just record data. Yeah. Can you believe that there were 3 raccoons in there the other night with our girls and nobody died? I mean, the raccoons died, but that none of our girls died? I can't even believe it. We're not builders, okay? We have never confessed to being builders, right? I mean, building that greenhouse was, you know, like our biggest triumph. Oh, that doesn't say a lot, does it? So, you know, don't shake your finger at me, I guess. So we're thinking that this little space up here where the roof is like coming away from the structure might be a point of entry for critters. So we have to redo this. Like I said, though, we're not the best builders. We are gardeners, people. We grow things. I love it. Love it. Oh, anybody who knows me knows that this is my favorite flower so far, the African daisy. I love that blue center. And look at it, it's just kind of a crazy, plant. It's kind of wild. You know, it doesn't just grow straight up like the typical daisies that you find. Oh yeah, and I do have some seeds I've saved from this one too. This is my makeshift light post. The lights were hanging there and there beside the greenhouse. And Steve was like, God damn it, backyard's not made for tall people. I'm like, welcome to my world, man. I'm not even 5 foot. You think the world's made for short people? I make my garden for short people, not for tall people. But because I love him and he's my husband, and I did not want to clothesline him every time he came into the backyard, because he won't then do things for me back here, just in case you're wondering. So I found 2 sticks and I propped them up just like that, and he laughed at me, but you know what? It works. So you might be familiar with my little area over here. Love it, right? Oh, but it's been violated. The neighborhood delinquent who I tried to befriend and try to do good things for and vouch for and try to lend a hand to has all summer been jumping over that fence and tromping through my garden and visiting my greenhouse. Folks, I've been invaded. And that sucks. So if you're thinking about jumping a fence, coming into my yard, you might want to ask yourself if you want to live to see another day. Is that an open threat? No. Just don't take my cowpeas over here. Thank you, Chris, for the cowpeas. We love them here. And I've got a bunch of peas, and I haven't even harvested them all because the wasps just love them. Ooh, I almost dropped you. All right. So, when we first got out here, I had opened up myself a beer to stroll through the garden with y'all, and there it sits on the stump where we began. Don't mess with us. Zachary and his he always says that my garden gate is completely confusing to him. Marla's garden, the blessing, beware of the dog, no trespassing. You can pull that except when it's locked now, and you know, watch yourself. Then once you come in, you got go away. He's like, I don't know, Mom. Do you want me to come in, or am I out of here? You know, my life began in a garden. Happy sign. Go away. It is. Might be a little confusing. It's almost time to say goodbye to the tomatoes. It has been a good year for tomatoes. It really has. There's still a lot of green ones left on the vine. I got to pick up these green ones here, bring them inside, do some fried green tomatoes maybe. But hopefully this upcoming week with the warm weather, hopefully ripens these babies up. I don't know that I'll have the garden cart out again this year. I want to thank everybody who came to the garden cart. It was a great success. It was so much so I couldn't keep up. I couldn't supply the cart enough and still preserve and can for my own family for the winter. So as my mom said, you either need to step it up or step it out. So I did step it up for COVID. You know, just I had time. And I did step it up, and I gotta say that you know, that now keeping up with the canning and the preserving, it is a lot of hard work for one person to do, and I do have help from Steve every once in a while, but he mostly does the digging and the structural and the planting. He does the hard work, you know. So I mean, I guess we both do hard work, just different hard. Aw, Willa. No wonder it's been so quiet out here. Because look at poor Willa. She's just been standing at the door. All right. Well, I'd better go let her out and play, folks. Thanks for taking a walk around the garden with me. This is Marla at Fassler Garden. Somebody's got to wash this door. All right. See y'all later. Bye.